Bangladesh is experiencing chaos. Although street protests are nothing uncommon in this 170 million-person South Asian country, the ferocity of the last week's events has been called the worst in living memory. With over 50 fatalities on Friday alone, the violence has claimed the lives of over 100 individuals. The internet and phone services have been taken down as part of an unprecedented communications blackout enforced by the government. What began as non-violent demonstrations on college campuses has already spread across the country. For weeks, thousands of college students have been protesting against a government employment quota system. A third of positions in the public sector are set aside for veterans kin who fought in the nation's 1971 struggle to gain independence from Pakistan. The students are demanding merit-based recruitment, claiming that the current system is unfair. The organizers of the protests claim that police and the Bangladesh Chhatra League, the student branch of the ruling Awami League, have been brutally employing force on non-violent protesters, inciting public outrage. These accusations are refuted by the administration. People from all walks of life seem to have joined the protest movement. It's not just students anymore. Dr. Samina Luthfa, an assistant professor of sociology at the University of Dhaka, told the BBC. It has taken a while for there to be demonstrations. Despite having one of the fastest-growing economies in the world, analysts note that university graduates are not finding employment as a result of this growth. An estimated 18 million young Bangladeshis are out of work, according to estimates. The unemployment rate for university graduates is greater than that of their less educated counterparts. Bangladesh has emerged as a major exporter of ready-to-wear apparel. The nation sells clothing to the international market for over $40 billion. Over 4 million individuals work in this industry. A large number of them are women. However, manufacturing employment are insufficient for the younger generation's aspirations. Bangladesh has changed dramatically throughout the 15 years of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's leadership, constructing new industries, highways, bridges, and even a metro system in the nation's capital, Dhaka. The World Bank estimates that nearly 25 million people have been pulled out of poverty in the previous 20 years, and its per capita income has quadrupled in the last 10 years. However, many claim that a portion of that expansion is just benefiting people in close proximity to Ms. Hasina's Awami League. "We are witnessing so much corruption," adds Dr. Luthfa, particularly among the circles of the governing party. For a very long period, corruption has existed without consequences. The topic of corruption charges against several of Ms. Hasina's former top officials, including a former army commander, an ex-police chief, senior tax authorities, and state recruiting officials, has taken center stage on Bangladeshi social media in recent months. Last week, Ms. Hasina declared that corruption was a persistent issue and that she was taking measures against it. She stated she had taken action against a domestic assistant, or peon, after he reportedly amassed $34 million during the same news appearance in Dhaka. "Without a helicopter, he is immobile. How did he get to be so wealthy? As soon as I realized this, I acted." She did not mention who it was. The response from the Bangladeshi press was that only bribery, corruption, or lobbying for government contracts could have resulted in the accumulation of this amount of money. Benazir Ahmed, the former head of police in Bangladesh and a close supporter of Ms. Hasina, is the subject of an inquiry by the Anti-Corruption Commission for allegedly obtaining millions of dollars through illicit methods. He refutes the accusations. The nation's common citizens, who are already struggling due to the rising cost of living, were not immune to this news. Apart from accusations of corruption, a lot of human rights campaigners highlight that throughout the last 15 years, there has been less room for democratic activities. There hasn't been a credible, free, and fair polling process for 3 consecutive elections, Human Rights Watch's South Asia director Meenakshi Ganguly told the BBC. Ms. Ganguly stated, "Ms. Hasina may have miscalculated the degree of discontent people felt about not being able to exercise the most fundamental democratic right to select their own leader." The primary opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, said that Ms. Hasina would not allow for free and fair elections, thus they boycotted the votes in 2014 and 2024 and demanded that they be conducted under an impartial caretaker government. This request has always been denied by Ms. Hasina. Additionally, rights organizations claim that over 80 people, many of them government critics, have vanished over the previous 15 years, and that no family member has any knowledge about them. In the midst of broader worries that Sheikh Hasina has become more authoritarian over time, the government is charged of suppressing dissent and the media. Yet clergy refute the accusations. According to Dr. Luthva, the resentment toward the ruling party and the government has been building for a long time. People are now expressing their rage. When they are left with no other options, people revolt. Ministers close to Ms. Hasina claim that despite what they view as provocative activities by demonstrators, the government has exercised tremendous restraint. They claim that Islamist groups and their political rivals have infiltrated the protests and are the ones who started the violence. Anisul Huk, the law minister, stated that the administration was willing to talk about the problems. The student protesters have received communication from the government. We are open to listening when there is a valid argument, Mr. Huk said earlier this week to the BBC. The largest obstacle Ms. Hasina has likely encountered since January 2009 is the student demonstrations. How she manages the disturbances and, above all, how she responds to the public's mounting ire will determine how they are handled. Join our channel as a subscriber. I appreciate you watching.